Here we are. My name is Doug Billings, and I'm the host of The Right Side. We have a show that has been blessed with in only 3 years, we have achieved an audience of about 4 million people a month tune in to watch this doggone thing. And it's just, it's a God thing, as we all say. It is a God thing. Got a table over here. I want you to make sure you stop by. If you have a phone and if you're into texting for information, there's a number that you can text, and that number is 41372. If you've got your phone, 41372, just text Doug to that number. You can learn about the events that we have coming up. I'm going to tell you about one here in just a minute. There's also just a way that we keep in touch with folks that want to stay connected with the program. We also have a book for sale over there, my latest book, and we have some health and finance programs and products that are, I think, of interest. You want to stop by over there. If you are so inclined to venture down to Kansas City in November, it's a lot cooler in Kansas, or warmer, I should say, in Kansas City than it is in Cuba City in November. I can almost promise you that. We're going to have what I call our Determined Patriotism Conference. It's a series of programs that we put on throughout the country, and General Flynn will be the keynote speaker there. Mike Lindell will be there. Kerry Lake, Don and Eric Trump Jr. will be there. Don Jr. and Eric Trump will be there. We're waiting to hear from them to confirm, just to be totally honest, but Flynn, Lindell, Ann Vandersteel, Mel Kay, all sorts of other podcasters and influencers and guests of interest, as we say. November 10th and 11th in Kansas City. You can find all of that and much more at my website, dougbillings.us. dougbillings.us. So, ladies and gentlemen, inevitably, as Ali alluded to, these events are sometimes plagued with people who don't always see eye to eye. We understand that. We believe in freedom of speech. We may have somebody driving around in an ATV vehicle that will shout out something like, lock him up, and he's talking about we might have people that will drive by and act out, so just be prepared. We will greet them as we do as conservative. We will greet them with no response, as my dad used to say, is in fact a response. So we'll just go and leave it at that. The state of play in America, you're going to have people come up here today and give specific evidence about how cheating happened, about Wisconsin. You're the epicenter for the fraud that has happened within our country. You know that. You know that you're the epicenter, one of the states that has been the focal point for fraud, that people still deny that fraud happened. We live in a situation in America where there is no more, and Jeff spoke about no more parties. I want to talk a minute about this. In the elected class, there are no more Democrats. Zero. Especially in Washington, D.C. They have blended communism and socialism together. They've become what I call the commu-socialist party. They are not a pro-America political party any longer. Evidence of the obvious is sufficient, right? Look at what they've done. There's a litany of things, and we can start, and we could go all night. The border. The crisis that we have at the border is multifaceted. It's purposeful, first of all. This is no accident what they're doing. None of the chaos that they inflict upon us is an accident. We have, in the Christian tradition, some people, the idea of patron saints. And they have, on the left, they have patron demons. And their primary patron of demonism is chaos. And they will thrust chaos upon us at the border, primarily because they want to dilute the American national identity. You look at France, Germany, Spain, they have no national identity any longer because of the influx of illegals that have come into those countries. This is what the left wants. They want the people that are coming in to be part of the new electoral base of this commu-socialist, formerly known as Democrat, party. We'll give you free stuff. We'll pay for your education. Free health care. Just come on over. They're giving them IDs now. They want them to vote. This is what they want. The new electoral base of the left, radical, woke, commu-socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party. So it's no accident that they're doing this. We look at what they've done with energy. We are no longer energy independent. We're dependent. Food costs, fuel costs. The debacle that happened in Afghanistan, where we lost military men and women, and now, thanks to the Biden administration, the Taliban is more funded and better armed than most of our allies in that region. You all know what I'm talking about. This is not accidental. This is on purpose. Purposeful chaos is the mantra. They are not the party of life, and we as conservatives, America First conservatives, ladies and gentlemen, some of the people that are in the conservative movement are becoming afraid to stand up for life because they've been conditioned to believe that it's a losing cause for us. We've got to back off of abortion. That's a loser for us. We can't put so much focus. BS. We must always be the party of life. In fact, that's where we've got to begin to fight as conservatives. The primary right of every human being that comes to us from God is the right to be alive. And we have the moral high ground on this. We can't back off of that. Don't ever let another conservative try to convince you of that. Certainly not another liberal. And they will. That's a loser. We know we've got to take care. We will take care of women, and we will take care of unborn babies. We can do it. We can do it. Well, what about the case of a rape or incest? Give me a break. We'll take care of them. By the way, those two examples occupy 0.0009% of all of the births in this country. So let's begin to understand that women and men and human beings in general need to understand that we have got to put the dignity and the holiness of life above a tragedy of rape and above a tragedy of incest. When those things happen in their most rare occurrence, life is the most primary gift that comes to us from God. And I happen to believe that all of our rights come from God. All of our rights come from God. This country was founded because God wanted it so. Our founding documents are inspired by men, or by God and written by men. Inspired by God and written by men. We have the Bible and our founding documents. Think of that. Inspired by God and written by men. This is a covenant nation. And we as conservatives understand that we are in a time of nightmare right now. It is a nightmare. No denying it. We are in a nightmare. Now, the good news about nightmares is what? We always wake up from nightmares. Always. It always happens. And we're in the process, I'm telling you, of not only waking up to conservative traditional values in America, but my friends, I'm here to say, we are in the process of waking up to the most substantial example of the divine providence of God that this republic has ever seen, and even since the time of the founding fathers. The great reawakening is happening, but we have got to be honest with ourselves. Yes, you can clap there with it. Great reawakening is upon us. You are the remnant. And we understand. We understand that we have to be honest. We have to understand how we got into this nightmare. And the reason, although many, let me just sum up, we were not involved. For 126 years, and that's not a number I'm pulling out of a hat, since the late 1800s, the Rockefeller family, the Carnegie family, the Dewey family, with their money and their foundations, began to take educational institutions in this country hostage with their money. All three of those men, and this is not my opinion, this is a matter of fact, all three of them were avowed socialists. And they held in educational institutions hostage. If you want our money, you're going to have to adopt our curriculum. And that means a woke liberal agenda was begun to be inflicted upon our young people. They moved into entertainment, they moved into news media, and here we are today. And they, your counterparts, my counterparts on the left, got involved in their local levels of government. And we did not. We did not, if we're honest. Now, we conservatives did great things. We raised families, we went to work, we went to and we won wars, but we did not do a thorough enough job getting involved at our local levels. And this is what today is all about. The local level is where it happens. It's where it happens. Forget Washington, D.C. When's the last time you heard of change flowing out of Washington, D.C.? Never. It always happens from Cuba City and other cities like it rising up and going down to Washington, D.C. That's how change happens right here at the grassroots level. So it's up to us to get involved. Now, there are glimmers of hope everywhere throughout this republic. I don't want you to think that we're never going to win this thing. We will prevail, primarily because God wills it so. The traditional rights, morals, and foundations of this republic are sound within us, and we will win. But it's going to take effort. In 2022, just last year, 14 states in this republic outlawed critical race theory in their school curriculums. 14 states. That's good news. We'll take it. Now, the reason that happened was because people like you got involved in the local level and became members of their school boards and began to fire woke school superintendents and other school board members. That's what it's going to take. And I understand that nobody wants to go sit through a 3-hour school board meeting. I get it, but that's what I call determined patriotism. Determined. We have to be determined in our patriotism. The days of us sitting at home and waiting for the person that we elected to solve our problems is over. It should have never been that way in the first place. We have got to understand that this commune socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party, is a coalition of immorality. Their number one objective, and again, a matter of fact, not opinion, is to eliminate God from society. Their number one goal. Now, they'll give it good lip service when they're on TV, but they want to eliminate God, and they want to replace God with a woke agenda. This LGBTQ kook community that we have out there represents, again, a sliver of this population. Yet they get all of this attention, and if we dare speak out about that being immoral, we're the ones taken to the county square and they attempt to crucify us, right? Those days are over. We will continue to speak up. We're not being violent. We're not causing harm. We're talking truth. And there are teachers out there who would say, you have no right to dictate what goes on in the classroom. Those teachers have got to go. These teachers, we have the LGBTQ kook community, and then we have teachers and other members of the transgender movement. Oh, no, listen, they teach little Johnny and little Sarah. If you want to be happy, if you're not happy with the gender that God has assigned you, the way to happiness is to mutilate your genitalia. That's what they're saying. That's what they're doing. And it is a sin of the gravest level to do that. We have got to begin to take it back. Schools, government, etc., by our involvement. We are the ones you've been waiting for to save it. It's you. President Trump is not going to be ushered back on chariots of fire into the Oval Office. The military is not running this country, ladies and gentlemen. You are. You are. And you've got to get involved and continue that drive to get involved and make sure that, there are 200,000 vacant Republican committeemen and women seats in this country. 200,000. That's not a matter of faulty election machines. That's a matter of lack of involvement. And we have got to correct that. Those positions, Republican committeemen and women positions, are the people that determine who goes to state conventions to nominate your president. We've got to get involved. So today you'll hear about this and more. But there is good news. There are good things happening. This nightmare is coming to an end. And Administrator Biden, who's not the president, Administrator Biden, his time is over. His time is over. His time really never was. He doesn't even know where he is, so his time really never was. But it's over. I don't think Kamala's going to get it. People are out there saying, what about Michelle? I think Michelle would have to answer for her package, if you know what I mean. There's too much baggage there for Michelle to be the president. Too much baggage, if you know what I mean, down there. So Mike won't get it. That's my opinion. We have a big day, a long list of folks that will go through here, and they're going to give you some real good data, real good hope. And I hope, again, that if you like what's going on, you tell somebody, and you encourage them to get involved just as you're getting involved. And don't let the size of the group of any group that you attend, not just this one, because each one of you represents the possibility to touch countless other people and to spread the conservatism that we need in this country. We cannot afford to be shy anymore about offending people at Thanksgiving dinner tables or at church conversations or wherever. We have to speak up for what we believe are God-given truths. You cannot, the politics, the platforms, and the policies that I've just briefly touched on here, from the Communist Socialist, formerly known as Democrat Party, the border, the children, the LGBTQ community, the transgender movement, you cannot, and listen, and I'm not the first person to say this, but I'm going to say it again, because of those policies, those platforms, and those politics of the left, you cannot be a Christian or a person of faith and be a Democrat. It's absolutely impossible. They cannot happen together. We do not kill babies in the womb or as they are being born. We do not teach children to mutilate their genitalia to become happy and switch genders. Dr. Frank and I share something in common. We have children who have what I call the divine chromosome. We have children who have Down syndrome. Trisomy 21 is the official name of that condition. The divine chromosome, as if God said to these kids, here's how you typical people should be, by the way. It erases prejudices and venom. They're always joyful. Most days, they have their days, but they're almost always happy. They take joy in the simple. If we each had a little bit of what they have in them, the world would be a better place. Yet on the left, they would tell us to abort those babies because they're an inconvenience. You can't be a Christian and be a Democrat. It's impossible. It's absolutely impossible.